participants. My name is Professor Isaac Butswat, your facilitator for this course. The last time we had how to manage the breeding stock in cattle. Today we'll be looking at managing the breeding stock in small ruminants, that is sheep and goats. I'm sure you are following and it is interesting. The small ruminants are easier to handle than the large ruminants. Have a nice time as you partake of this course. We are on this management of breeding stock in sheep and goats. The contents will comprise introduction, objectives, the management of the male sheep, management of the buck, management of female sheep or ewe. Now, we also have to manage the female goats or doe, the pregnant ewe or the pregnant ewe, lambing or kidding, management of the lambs, management of the growing sheep, and we'll look at the conclusion, the summary. We will look at some class activities and further reading or references. By way of introduction, an effective production of sheep and goats for either meat, hides and skin or milk is affected by the occurrence of desirable traits in the breeding stock and the management of the animal to sustain such traits in the flock. Improper handling or management may spell doom for such productive enterprise. Therefore, in this unit, we shall study how breeding stock and young stock are managed for effective production. Objectives. By the end of this unit, you should be able to describe how to take care of breeding rams and bucks, enumerate how to take care of breeding ewes and does, discuss how to manage young sheep or goats, i.e. lambs and kids, to grower stage or maturity, identify when a female sheep or goat is on heat. Management of ram. Management of ram is very crucial to breeding and indeed the entire production of a sheep farm. If poorly cared for, ram attain puberty at a prolonged age. Normally, a well-managed ram in terms of adequate feeding, watering, and health care attain puberty at about 6 months of age if under intensive management system. The ram could be older if under the extensive system. Rams must be fed good mixture of grasses and legumes, in addition to which concentrates may be given at about 300 to 500 grams per head per day. The hooves must be adequately trimmed to prevent overgrowth and foot rot. They must be regularly disinfected every quarter to prevent external parasites. Rams for breeding are kept in a separate pen or paddock, usually very close to the ewe or ewes to stimulate sexual desire. At puberty, sperm production of the ram is usually of low quality, hence more mature and older rams must be used for mating. There is the tendency to overuse the ram in an extensive system of production. However, the acceptable mating ratio of ram to ewe is between 1 to 20 and 1 to 30. Excess rams on the farm not required for mating are often castrated. Castrated rams are called wither. The buck is the male goat. It must attain the age of about 12 to 18 months of age before it is used for mating. Even though it reaches puberty earlier than 12 months, it is not advisable to use such for mating. Bucks should be penned separately to prevent indiscriminate mating. It must be fed good quality grass and legumes and given concentrate at about 300 to 500 grams of concentrate on daily basis. A good buck can be used for breeding for a period of 4 to 6 years effectively. The mating ratio in goats is similar to what obtains in sheep. Bucks that are not being used for mating are usually castrated. Castrated bucks are called bullocks and fattened for meat. Management of female goats or doe. Management of a female goat or even a female sheep is called takes place starting from the puberty at the age of 6 or 12 months, depending on adequate feeding and healthcare. When nutrition is poor, sheep comes to puberty as late as about 20 months. Attainment of puberty has been shown to be related to the body weight of the animal and breed. Large breeds have been shown to reach puberty much later than smaller breeds. The moment an ewe is selected for breeding, it must be separated and not allowed to run with rams to avoid indiscriminate mating. Apart from nutrition, the reproductive life of sheep is also influenced by photoperiod or day length, especially in the temperate countries, or season. In the tropics and where there is adequate feeding, this effect do not show, as there exists little variation in day length period throughout the year. Conception rate in ewes can be increased by improving the quality of feed given to the animal, which subsequently encourages ovulation. This process is called flushing. It may require putting the male animal on a lush green pasture with quality concentrate a month before mating. A female sheep comes to estrus or heat from 6 months of age, and thereafter heat reoccurs at every 15 to 17 days. You must not be allowed for mating at the first estrus. Estrus lasts 20 to 42 hours in sheep. The heat signs are similar to what you have learned for cattle. A female goat is called a doe. It comes to puberty at about 6 months and is affected by photoperiodism, i.e. the influence of daily cycle of light and darkness on the physiology and behavior of an animal. The reproductive activity is influenced by the shortening length of the day. However, because there is not much variation in the day length, in the tropics the effect is not very pronounced, as experienced in the temperate regions. A doe can be mated or serviced as from about 12 months of age. It comes to estrus as from 6 months of age, and the estrus lasts 24 to 36 hours every 18 to 21 days. Like the sheep, a doe must not be allowed for mating at first estrus. Conception rate can be increased by flushing the doe as for the sheep. The heat signs are similar to what you have learned for cattle. Management of pregnant ewe and doe. After mating, the ewe or doe must be separated from the flock and kept in individual pen or monitored to ensure safety to prevent abortion. The ram or buck must not be allowed to run with the females again if on pasture. They must be grazed on separate paddock or the prepuce of the penis tied to the scrotum to prevent aggressive mating from the males. Ewes or does must not be well fed with good grass legume mixtures. Must be well fed with minerals and supplements in form of block multinutrients if available. Concentrates at about 200 to 600 grams per day may be given towards the later part of pregnancy, 6 to 8 weeks, to provide extra nutrients for the development or for the developing fetus. The gestation period for an ewe is 140 to 150 days. That's 21 to 22 weeks, which is similar to that of a doe. On the average, the gestation period in lambing or kidding, as it concerns sheep and goats, varies. Ewes and does demonstrate essentially the same characteristics when giving birth. Towards the end of pregnancy, the odor of the animal swells and becomes larger. The ewe or doe becomes restless, bleeds, and there is a hollow appearance on the flank region of the loin. Some watery discharge that is opaque and yellowish is observed from the vulva, and the animal chooses a secluded place to give birth. Parturition process is completed within 2 hours. You can now say lambing or kidding is completed within 2 hours. The animal could be assisted if in distress or invite a veterinarian, especially if the fetus position is abnormal. The normal position is when the lamb or kid comes out with head rested on the foreleg, coming out first from the vagina. The dam cleanses up the lamb or kid by licking the mucus from the body and stimulate the lungs to respire in some cases. The young animal, after some time, begin to show signs of hunger and thereafter sucks the dam. Management of the kids and lamb. Under the extensive management, the dam and the baby are paired together. The lamb or kid, depending on the dam's milk, for the early part of its life and begins to nibble on grasses or forage as from about 3 weeks of age, which helps stimulate the rumen. If paired and separated, dry forage mixtures such as hay is introduced to the young ones in addition to milk replacers. The young animals can be allowed to creep, diet, or grazing. It's a design where young animals have access to good quality feed, usually concentrated through small openings, not big enough to allow the dam to eat it up. That's creep feeding. The lamb or kids are weaned at about 6 to 8 weeks after birth. Weaning at about 6 weeks is called early weaning. At this stage, the animals are separated. Those for breeding are separated from those for fattening and maintained as growers. Of course, weaning is separation from milk or any liquid except water. Management of growing sheeps, these are also reared along with the matured ones, but feed introduced gradually. Class activity. Describe the management practice for a pregnant ewe. 2. List the words used for pasteurization in cattle, sheep, and goats. Give a brief description of kidding in goats. In conclusion, in this unit, we have established the correlation between good management of male and female animals and breeding. The care of the young animal has been shown to be of utmost importance in the attainment of puberty and hence effective production. In summary, the male animals, either buck or ram, must be taken care of in terms of adequate provision of feed and health care to attain puberty and ready for use in mating in good time. That the female doe or ewe must also be well managed for early onset of estrus at puberty. The gestation period in cows is an average of 283 days, while it is an average of 150 days in sheep and goats. That reproduction is affected in sheep and goats by day length period, which is not very pronounced in the tropical climate. Now, by way of references, you can refer to Okori 1978 or Michael and Sopantirio 1997. Thank you.